The Showtime Lakers are one of the most iconic and dominant basketball teams of all time, winning 5 NBA championships, dominating the league. In the 80s, the Showtime Lakers innovated new ways to make the league more fun and entertaining, such as bringing in cheerleaders, dancers, and establishing a celebrity following at their games. But most importantly, the Lakers developed a fast break offense, which gave Magic Johnson the ability to make jaw-dropping no-look passes and create an entertaining offense. But to understand the story of the Showtime Lakers, we need to go back to where it all began. The Showtime Lakers came during a time when the NBA was struggling and on the verge of irrelevancy, as the NBA had very poor attendance and TV ratings at the time. The league in the 70s was in the dumps due to rampant drug abuse and a lack of diversity of good black and white players. Even though the Showtime Lakers didn't have a championship caliber team, they did have one piece of their Showtime dynasty already there.
Sends it to Kareem. Sky hook up and good. Lakers win. Score it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has given the Los Angeles Lakers a victory.
Arguably the greatest center of all time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In 1975, Bucks center and 3-time league MVP Kareem Abdul-Jabbar decided to request a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks to the Los Angeles Lakers after Kareem had averaged 30 points per game, but the Bucks finished with a 38-44 record. To put it more simply, Kareem on the Bucks was equivalent to 2018 LeBron, putting up godlike stats, but unfortunately playing with pretty-ass teammates. Arriving in LA the same year, Kareem will continue to shit on the league as he averaged 27 points per game and won his 4th MVP award. But as Kareem racked up awards, the Lakers didn't. As over the next 4 years, the Lakers would struggle, as from 1975 to 1979, the Lakers only made a conference finals once. But it wasn't until in 1979 when former Lakers owner Jack Cook sold the Lakers to Jerry Buss, where in the 1997 NBA draft, they would draft the greatest point guard of all time, sexual chocolate, I meant Magic Johnson.
To the left goes Magic. He's got it. He didn't shoot it. 5 seconds left. Magic down middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12. Good!
Irving Magic Johnson is a 6'9" point guard from Lansing, Michigan, who played college ball at Michigan State for the Spartans, where he would average 17 points per game and even go on to win the 1979 NCAA championship, which was watched by 40 million people. To put that in perspective, the most recent NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Warriors was watched by an average of 12.4 million people. With Magic Johnson as their new rookie starting point guard and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the league's leading scorer, the Lakers would finish the regular season with a record of 60 wins and 22 losses. Rookie Magic Johnson would average 18 points per game and Kareem would average 24 points per game, leading the Lakers to the NBA Finals, where they would go up against the Philadelphia 76ers, led by the Dr. Julius Erving. Julius Erving is one of the greatest NBA players of all time. Throughout his career, he would rack up 30,000 points, become a 3-time ABA MVP, 2-time ABA champion, and an 11-time All-Star, averaging 28 points per game and being the best player in the ABA before they would later merge with the NBA. Going into the NBA Finals, Dr. J averaged 24 points per game, where he and the 76ers would go on to dominate everyone in their conference, only losing 2 games to get to the finals. The only thing stopping the Doctor from capturing an NBA title was some smiling 6'9" 6'9" kid from Michigan and some old man wearing fucking goggles. Turns out those two would be a pretty good duo, as they would take a 3-2 lead in the NBA Finals. But it was also during that game where their leader and the best player on the team, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, would go down with a sprained ankle, sidelining him for the rest of the series. With their MVP center down, Coach Paul Westhead decided to put point guard Magic Johnson at center in Game 6. With their championship window all but closing, no one thought the Lakers had a shot at winning a championship, especially with some rookie.
You have played every position this year, and it's been a remarkable season for you.
Yes, it has. It's been a learning experience, but I enjoy challenges, and it's a challenge tonight to see what I can do.
Bush gave us a little hoot deep. Magic gets to the baseline, 24 points for the rookie.
That wasn't a brick, that was concrete.
Great pass inside to Cooper with Magic Johnson looking left on the interception on the lazy pass. It is that rookie again. Magic dishes Wilkes this time. Unbelievable performance by Magic Johnson. 38 points, 14 for 23 for the field, 10 for 10 from the free throw line, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, and lead almost from start to finish with Jamal Wilkes contributing 35 also. There it is, it's over, and the most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Rookie Magic Johnson would have the game of his life by scoring 42 points and 15 rebounds, which would help the Lakers win their first NBA championship since 1972. Magic Johnson would go on to win Finals MVP. At a young age of 20, Magic Johnson had won everything in the game of basketball, from high school, college, and now an NBA championship. Over the next 2 years, the Showtime Lakers, led by Magic and Kareem, will go on to win their second NBA championship, beating the Philadelphia 76ers again in the finals in 6 games, with Magic winning Finals MVP for the second time in 3 years, averaging 17 points per game. But also in this time span, the Lakers' heated rival, the Boston Celtics, also won a championship, led by Magic's rival, Larry Bird. But it wasn't until 1984 where the Lakers would meet their heated rival, the Boston Celtics. The Lakers and the Boston Celtics rivalry reached its climax in the early to late 80s, as the two biggest organizations were led by the two best players in the league at that time, having a heated rivalry ever since the early 60s, where Boston beat the shit out of LA every time in the finals, 7 times to be exact. But it seemed with Magic and Kareem, the Showtime Lakers would finally get over the hump. The Lakers and the Celtics would meet in the 1984 finals, where the heated rivalry of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson would be on display on the grandest stage in all of basketball. But this rivalry didn't start here. Remember when Magic Johnson won an NCAA championship? The guy he beat for it was none other than Indiana State's own and Player of the Year, Larry Bird. And what was the most watched college basketball game of all time? Magic Johnson's Spartans beat Indiana State 75-64. It's safe to say the 1984 NBA Finals lived up to the expectations of the fans, as the series was a back and forth battle with each team blowing each other out. As the series ended up going to a final Game 7, Boston would go on to win the series 4-3. The Celtics would beat the Lakers in the finals for the 8th time, and Bird would seemingly get his revenge on his rival Magic for beating him in the college championship game. Not gonna lie, if I was Magic, I too would be pissed losing to someone who looks like this. This was also the finals where Magic would get the nickname Tragic Johnson, as he underperformed way below his standards, as in Game 4, he missed 2 crucial free throws to win LA the game. To make matters even worse, there's literally a 6-minute video of him choking in the finals. With Boston on top of the NBA world, and Larry Bird being widely regarded as the best player in the NBA, not only did the Lakers have something to prove, but also Magic, and it didn't take them long to rebound. Get it? Rebound? Because of basketball?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Celtics!
The Lakers would go on to dominate the 1985 NBA season by finishing with a record of 62-20 with the help of veteran Kareem and breakout star James Worthy, as they had the best record in the West. But on the other side, back-to-back MVP Larry Bird was also doing the same with the Celtics, as they had finished 62-19, also at the top of their conference, with the help of all-star teammates Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, as it seemed almost destined for these two great teams to match up in the finals again. They did, with both teams pretty much sweeping everyone in their path to get there. These finals were not as intense as the previous one, as Boston took Game 1, LA took Games 2 and 3, Boston took Game 4, to even up the series at 2 games apiece. LA took Game 5, while Game 6 went to
The Lakers are winning it. 3 in 6 years. LA comes to Boston and wins the world title.
The Lakers got their revenge on the Celtics, as this finals victory was the first time LA beat Boston in the finals. Kareem won his second finals MVP, averaging 25 points per game. Breakout star James Worthy averaged 23 points per game, hitting multiple clutch shots during the series. And most importantly, Magic Johnson got rid of the nickname Tragic Johnson by performing at an all-time level, as he averaged 18 points per game to go along with 14 assists per game as well. This rivalry, without a doubt, saved and revitalized the NBA, as Magic and Bird's rivalry helped push each other to limits they didn't know they had. I think what also made this rivalry so great was how polar opposites Magic and Bird were, but also how similar they were. Both grew up in poverty and used their skills and love for the game of basketball to create a better life for them and their families. While Magic was black and outgoing, while Bird was white and quiet, both playing the game they love, fighting to be the face of the NBA. The Bird and Magic rivalry transcended off the court as well, as white people often found themselves rooting for the Celtics and black people found themselves rooting for the Lakers, as racial tensions were still high from the late 70s. The Showtime Lakers will go on to win 2 more championships to cap off one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history. The rivalry with the Celtics helped change the league's image from a drug-infested league with a boring, selfish style of play to a more team-oriented, entertaining league where 2 great rivals could coexist.